name's Bill Stumpf. I live in Dubuque. I have 3 kids that are raised. My youngest is son Kyle, who's 26, and he is currently employed in the community. You know, when Kyle was finishing up with high school, I was determined through the team, including myself, that it'd probably be best for him to start out in a pre-voc setting at Goodwill, and that has continued up till this point. He's still working there part-time. I was a little frustrated at that point because I heard a lot about folks that were working in the community who had disabilities and wondered, okay, how do I do this? From there, started to fill out paperwork for voc rehab. Wanted to make sure that we'd get people that were willing to look outside the box, because Kyle was probably somebody who was thought of as unemployable, sort of. And what was good about coinciding with getting involved with voc rehab is that we could make sure that everything was in order. We could get job coaching in place, which we did, which has been extremely beneficial, obviously for Kyle, but also for the employer to know that they're not flying alone, that the supports are there for them. And that's been very effective. They did name a new counselor who was wonderful, and kind of had the same philosophy. I don't want to just go through the motions. At the same time, I also met with some folks at Goodwill to talk about what we would do for job coaching, and they kind of took the same approach and said, let's do this and do it outside the box. Let's make this happen. So everybody had the same mindset, and that was very effective, including his Medicaid case manager, who was on board with us as well. So we were able to meet, and as I said, then the job kind of just fell into place. And so the great thing about that is we had already talked about job coaching and what we'd be able to, what Kyle was going to need. And you know, there were some days we just went in because things weren't quite ready yet. He went without the job coach, but it depended on what the duty was going to be that day. Now we've gotten much more formalized. There's a regular schedule. He works 5 days a week, approximately 2 hours, and hopefully that will build. That is the ultimate goal, to get Kyle working full-time. In the interim, I would look at doing some, you know, wraparound services. Absolutely want to see him more employed now that I know he can do it. May have been one of the biggest deterrents to it initially, because everything was kind of going along good and you didn't want to rock the boat. You know, his day was full. He was doing well, he was making a little bit of income, but now that I've seen that he can actually do it, you know, in a regular job, and make probably twice as much money as he does when he's working in the pre-voc setting, it's pretty cool. Make sure that you're getting with the right person, make sure that they're explaining to you clearly what the expectations are, what the supports are, and totally understanding that. Also have other folks involved in that process. I involved my daughter because she will be his guardian someday, so I wanted to make sure she understood the system. I involved the agency that provides supported community living and respite through the waiver program in that system, because they can complement each other. Obviously, the case manager is Medicaid case manager to make sure that everything's overseen. So getting all the people at the table, plus prospective employers or employer, if that's the case, to help get us connected with job coaching. I think job coaching is very crucial. And I think folks need to know that it doesn't have to be necessarily temporary. It's there as long as the person needs it. Some folks might tell you that we want to just do it temporarily to get things going, and ideally, yes, we'd like to have the employers pick up on that. But if there's not a good comfort level there, I think they need to know that that can be there as long as the person needs it. There's lots of jobs out there, and there's lots of people with disabilities that are ready and willing and able to fill those jobs.